Hey guys, it's Nate with Z-Bros, and today we're going to talk about our shock line for the Polaris Ranger and the Can-Am Defender, which we have here on the lift. Now, we have two shock options available. What we call our 2.2 inch IFP or monotube shock, and then our piggyback 2.2 inch, which has a compression adjuster and an external reservoir. These shocks are very similar, and the basics of what you need to know when you get either of these shocks is that there's one adjustment that you need to understand, and that is spring preload. So out of the box, the shocks are going to come with a certain amount of preload. It's kind of a basic beginning setup for a car that's semi-stock or that doesn't have a whole bunch of extra accessories. But in order to adjust preload, you're going to want to have your car on a lift, and you're going to want to have your 5/16 Allen. And if you look here, there's a little pinch bolt. And once you loosen that pinch bolt, you're able to turn that preload generally by hand. So if you have added weight or you want to raise the ride height from where we set them stock, you're going to need to tighten this preload or add more preload to the spring. And this is just pre-tensioning the spring, which gives you more lift or ride height. Now, if you feel like your ride height is too high and you want it softer, obviously you would loosen this back off. And usually what we recommend is that when you make a preload adjustment, do, I would say, 2 to 4 turns at a time. So 3 or 4 turns, 2 or 4 turns, something like that, and then check it. And you're going to want to do both fronts at the same time and then both rears to make that adjustment. Now, if you can't turn it by hand when it's on the car because you have enough preload in it that it gets a little bit hard, a 1/4 inch punch. This is just a piece of 1/4 inch bar. There's little holes in these preload rings that you're able to put that in, and then when it's on the car, you can use that leverage to make it easier to turn and add that preload. So you can get an additional, 4 or more turns of preload that you're looking for out of the spring stack. And then after you've done your preload setting, just simply tighten back down that little set screw, and you don't need to crank on this, but with a T-handle, just snug it up and it won't come loose. That's the one adjustment that you need to understand on the monotube or the piggyback style shock. It's the same. Preload is number one. That's going to affect your ride height and your ride quality. That's going to be your biggest and main adjustment you're going to want to do first. Now on the piggyback shock, it's hard to see, but up inside there's actually a compression dampening adjuster. And there's going to be 12 clicks of adjustment on here, and you're able to basically go soft or stiffer by clicking that knob. So if you find the conditions where it's just really rough and really small choppy bumps and you just want it to be as smooth as possible, you can go ahead and open that adjuster. And if you have more load or more people and you feel like you're getting a little bit low or you want a little more dampening, that's where you can turn the clicker up. Now remember, your spring preload is your number one adjustment that you want to make first. So if that's right, the adjuster is going to work really well. But if your preload's not set where it needs to be, just closing that adjuster is not going to stop the car from bottoming if you have the preload not set at the right level from the beginning. So take that extra time, set your spring preload. It's simple and easy to do. Just make sure you put the car on a lift or on a jack and get the car unweighted so the shock's fully extended. That'll make a big difference in making it easier to adjust. And as always, you can go to zbrosracing.com for all of your Z-Bros exit shock products, or just reach out to your local Z-Bros dealer or call our customer service line and we can help you walk through those steps. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.